Welcome to the People Sports Podcast. I'm Charlotte Wilder. He's Mark Titus. Mark, how you doing this Monday, or I guess Tuesday for people listening now?
Charlotte, it's a new week, and I'm doing great. The weekend did not go as planned. There's a saying that's happening amongst our team. One of our guys on our crew, John Hill, who you know well, he got a kick out of when he was working March Madness when Ohio State lost to Oral Roberts. Which I'm trying to do my best to block from my memory and trying to rewrite history and say that didn't actually happen. I come in the next day, Charlotte, for the tournament games, and I just looked John in the eye and I said, the haters won yesterday. And he loved it. And he's just, I'm like, that's all I could say. I mean, sometimes in life you just have to tip your cap and be like, the haters got me. You guys win. And that has become he said that to me a handful of times. He's like, it looks like the haters are winning. It looks like so I just came in today to the studio to record this, and I saw John, and I said, John, it's with a heavy heart that I report the haters won this weekend. I took L after L. That was before the game even started. Then Ohio State lost the game, and this show might be cursed. Our tour might be cursed. But it's a new week, Charlotte. Monday's a fresh slate, and positive vibes only, looking ahead. That's where I'm
Here's the thing, Mark. The show didn't take an L. There's no curse on the show. There might be a curse on the schools that we go to, but It is only uphill from here. I want to apologize for the people at home. I feel like I sound like I've been smoking cigarettes for 50 years. I don't know if it's that bad to anybody else, but that's like what it feels like, because it turns out going to college football games, this is only week 2, but not only I get into it, so I'll start yelling, but also just so that people can hear you. The shoe was so loud. I feel like anytime, even just talking to you on the sidelines, I had to just scream.
Yeah.
And then, we've done some media hits since then, and I've been on the, I don't see my friends or family, so the only way to talk to them is on the phone. So I'm just talking constantly, and I'm like, we're gonna have to put me on vocal rest or something.
Vocal rest.
I don't know what's going on.
Vocal rest. I think that's what this
I can't think
for.
of a person who would have a harder time with vocal rest than me, though, because I just keep talking. Here's the thing, though, Mark.
My dream is to actually have a reason to go on vocal rest in my personal life. Like to be able to say that would be a dream come true. To be able to be with my friends and just kind of just be like, guys, I'm on vocal rest. I'm leaving, or everybody please shut up because I don't want to talk to you. And that would be great. That would be fantastic.
I'm trying to figure out what's the level of fame you have to get to before you can go on vocal rest, because I feel like for most singers, they'd be like, yeah, no one cares that much, just get out there, there's too much money riding on this. I feel like you've got to be I can't even think of the name for vocal rest right now.
You gotta be what? You gotta be
celebrity wise. What's the level of fame? Beyonce can go on vocal rest.
Right. I don't know what the level is. We're not there.
You know what I mean? We're definitely not there.
I know we're not there yet.
So should we just address the elephant in the room? Should we just talk about the Mark Titus, Charlotte Wilder college football ultimate road trip curse?
Yeah, I think we should, because it is it is something that's definitely happening, and I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it, because I've been in what's hard for me, Charlotte, is that I've been a curse for most of my life, but it hasn't affected me, so it's been kind of funny to me. Famously, I curse Tate every single time I watch North Carolina basketball with Tate, and I cheer for Tate. I want Tate to be happy, and I want North Carolina to win, because it's gotten to the point now where North Carolina loses literally every single time I watch a game with Tate that now I might be cheering against them. I don't know, because it's funny. I might want the curse to go on. So I've lived in this world of, I'm at a sporting event, and I have people tweeting at me telling me, please leave. I hate that you're there. You're ruining everything. This is something I'm very familiar with. What I'm not familiar with is the tweets coming from inside the house. I'm not familiar with being back at my alma mater and all the people that I feel like were supposed to extend me love. This was supposed to be a homecoming of sorts. This was supposed to be a fun time for me, Charlotte. And Ohio State is down by 14 for most of this game. Every time I looked up, we were down 14. I don't know how it happened. We'd score a touchdown, down 14. Oregon would score a touchdown. They just went up 14. I'm like, how is this happening? We're down 14 always. And as this is going on, I'm trying to distract my mind. I'm pulling out my phone, trying to look at something else. I'm like, maybe there's another upset going on around the country where everyone else is talking about that. and no one even notices that Ohio State's losing to Oregon. And I'll pull out my phone, I'll like get on Twitter, and it's just a bunch of Ohio State people like, Titus, please leave. Please go away. Please, you're ruining everything. And that hurt. That definitely hurt. That was a new part of all this.
Well, here's the thing, though. I'm part of it, too. Like, I'm part of this curse, man. Like, we got to embrace. Like, I think here's an email. Here's an email we got. We're going to do emails at the end of the show, but there's one I wanted to start off because the subject line is the Charlotte and Mark curse sponsored by Dos Equis, which I don't think is the sponsorship that Dos Equis thought they were buying when they signed up for this. But it says, hi, Charlotte and Mark. I'm pretty sure you've all received a zillion messages about the curse being 2-0 now. At this point, the most important matchup in college football is the curse versus Alabama. I don't remember if you two are headed to Tuscaloosa or not, but clearly this is the matchup that the people need you to be at. Thanks, and please do not go to the Rose Bowl, Daniel.
I have horrible news. Not only are we not going to Tuscaloosa,
I know.
we're going to College Station when Alabama plays their toughest game of the year at Texas A&M. So it's the exact opposite. It's like the one game on the schedule that you have circled going into the season, the one regular season game that Alabama, it's going to be the odds makers will probably say that is the game, that the regular season game most likely for Bama to lose. And Charlotte and I will be there cheering for the home team. So, whoops.
Yeah. However, what if we start, like, what if that's the weekend that we're like, we'll do everything, we'll do the whole fan experience, but then we wear Bama gear to the game.
Yeah, but then
maybe we can reverse it. I don't even know. I'm like,
it's been so long.
This whole thing.
Like, not having sports really last year. They existed, but let's be honest, they're not really. They're Frankenstein sports, like what they were last year. It's been so long that I forget how this is supposed to work with all, like, because under normal circumstances, curses actually make a lot of sense to me. I was telling you about, I wore my lucky sweater to the live show we did in Columbus on Friday, my lucky Ohio State sweater. I did not wear it to the game, and I have called this my lucky sweater. I will tell anybody who listens that Ohio State has never lost a game when I've worn that sweater in basketball or football. I don't even know if that's true, but that's how I remember it. And it all checks out that if I wear the sweater, we're always going to win. So you're saying to yourself, Mark, why don't you wear the sweater every game? And I'm like, because it doesn't work that way. And it all makes sense in my head. It all makes sense. I don't need it to make sense to anyone else. And what I'm saying, Charlotte, is that I find myself with this curse that we have placed on the college football world. I can't make sense of it. I don't know what we're supposed to do. It's been too long since I've been in these shoes of like trying to remember, do we outsmart the curse? Can you?
I know.
Because like if we cheer for Alabama, all that's going to happen in that game is Alabama's going to win, and then we're going to look like assholes being in College Station. Like,
I know.
Wearing Alabama stuff. And you know what I mean? I don't want to do that either.
Yes. No, I know, Mark. I've actually spent a lot of time yesterday and today thinking, like, okay, because, in these sorts of circumstances with content, if you're in sports media and things don't go as planned, like, we really would have loved if the home teams had been 2-0. And so far, but things don't go as planned. You're like, okay, well, like, how do we embrace this? And I was like, I don't know how to embrace this. The closest I've come is putting it on Oklahoma, is saying, Sooners, we are coming to your city. And this curse isn't real. This is 2 games. A curse isn't 2 games. Come on. A curse is at least 5 games. So Oklahoma, it's on you to prove that you're the one home team that can win where the other 2 couldn't. Prove how good you are by showing everyone that it's not a curse. It's just Madison and Ohio State's fault.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. I don't know. Okay.
Do you see what I'm going for, though? Like, put it on.
I will say,
put it on Oklahoma.
This week we are going to Norman, Oklahoma, as you said, to the University of Oklahoma. It's very confusing, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed this or aware of this. It is the University of Oklahoma, aka OU. Very backwards. Very confusing. Don't try to think about it too long. It'll break your brain.
Well, I said that. Yeah. No, I know. It's really confusing.
No, it's same with Kansas. Same with, like, I think Missouri's that way. Kansas is the University of Kansas, but it's KU. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. No.
Doesn't check out. We are going to Oklahoma. They are number 3 in the country. Nebraska is absolute garbage at football, and the state's lovely.
Do you know what that spread is, by the way?
I would guess, like, honestly, if I had to guess. Okay. Is it out, by the way? It is. Are you asking me because you have the?
No, I'm asking you because I don't know if it's out. But OU Nebraska spread. Let's see.
Lock me in at guessing 59. 59. I'm gonna say.
No, it's 19 and a half. It's 19 and a half.
What did it open at?
Which is
I wonder if
enough to make me feel confident that we'll break the curse.
What did it open at? I wonder.
I don't know. I actually don't know. But right now it's 19 and a half.
I'm curious if.
So.
Dude, it's.
We really need Oklahoma to win, so we need Sooner fans to show up. We're doing the show at the Silent Barn Grill at 5.
I think you want it too bad. I think you gotta. I don't know. I don't like that you're saying all this.
I don't know, Mark.
I don't like that you're saying that.
I don't know what the move is.
I don't like that you're saying we need Oklahoma to.
I'm really rattled. If you can't tell.
I can't lose in this situation now because Ohio State lost to Oregon, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
And now, as an Ohio State fan that wants the Buckeyes to win out and make it into the playoffs, Charlotte, I'm gonna need some help. I need some teams to lose above Ohio State. So basically, going into this week, I'm going to cheer for Oklahoma, obviously, because that's what we're doing. We're going to these schools. We're cheering. Yep. But the silver lining is, if the upset happens,
this curse is mastermind. This is a masterminded curse at this point. You're going galaxy brain on this curse. I like it.
If Nebraska wins, you're going to be a little sadder than I am. Let's just put it that way.
Okay. All right. We'll take it. So we're going to do something this from now on the Monday shows that you thought of that I think is a great idea, which is a report card of the past weekend. And we've got 5 categories, I believe. We've got right?
Yeah, we got 5 categories. Do you want to go through them first, or do you just want to go through them one at a time?
Let's just do it one at a time. Let's just go for it.
All right. So we came up with these 5 things to recap our trips to these campuses so we can make sense of it. Because we're having a lot of fun and putting out the videos. But then when we noticed last Monday when we sat down to do a show, our brains were mush. We couldn't remember what we talked about with each other and didn't talk about. So we're trying to figure out a way to put a nice little bow on everything. And this is what we have. So the first category I wrote down is just simply describe the vibe, which is a little more open-ended than maybe the others. What is the vibe of Ohio State? This is a tough one to start, by the way, because every other campus we're going to is my first time at a football game at these places, and Ohio State is the exact opposite of my first time. This was my 10,000th game. So I don't know. I'm more curious what you have to say about Ohio State this week.
So I had been to, weirdly, the last game that I covered, the last regular season game of any sport that I covered before the pandemic was Penn State at Ohio State. So it was the last home game until this home game that I was at the last home game.
Oh, you were at the last Ohio State game? Yeah. So you didn't miss anything. So you and the season ticket holders of Ohio State had the same exact.
Yes.
Yeah, experience the last 2 games. That's funny.
I realized that, which was bizarre. I also had sort of a moment, and I told you this, and I don't know if this is too sappy to say out loud, but when I was there covering it, I was covering it for Sports Illustrated, and I hadn't done a ton of college football stuff at that point, so I walk into the press box, and someone looks at me and goes, "Charlotte, why are you here?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, thanks, happy to be here, man. Thanks for the warm welcome." And I looked down, and I saw the big noon kickoff tent. On the field. And I remember thinking man, it'd be really cool to be there. And then we actually got to be a part of it this week at Ohio State, the last place I ever thought that. And so it was a really cool moment, personally. But I think that what I thought of the vibe then is actually stayed consistent to the vibe now. And I think what it is about Ohio State is, this, not a lot of people like Ohio State. And I think that the vibe is, I would call it cold and intimidating, but incredibly respectable. I respect the hell out of Ohio State, but it is not a warm and fuzzy, we're thrilled you're here.
There's a line in the sand, Charlotte. You're either a Buckeye or you're not. And if you're not, get the hell out. We don't want you. And if you are, then why aren't you yelling louder?
Yes.
Why aren't you doing the chants
what I mean?
louder?
Like, even the shoe itself, which I actually think is the coolest stadium I've ever seen and ever been in. It's the kind of stadium that you see from the outside and you get chills and you're not sure why, but you do, even if you didn't go there. But it's I'd say that what I wrote down for this is cold and intimidating but respectable.
All right.
That was my take on Ohio State's football.
That's fair. We'll take that. To your point about the shoe, like something cool about it, and this isn't unique to Ohio Stadium because Lord knows there's a lot of old stadiums out there, but what really contextualized it for me this trip was when we went to St. John Arena for school session, which is basically like this big pep rally before the game. That's really all it is the band plays songs and all the fans get fired up. And Ryan Day and the team walk through, and Ryan Day's like, "We need you guys to get loud." And then the fans are like, "We'll do that, Ryan. We got your back." And that's all it is. But in St. John Arena, they have a bunch of pictures of old teams of every sport, basically, from Ohio State. And I saw on this trip that for some reason, I've never really like stopped and looked at it. They have a wall where it's like every single football team in Ohio State history, the team picture. And like starting in 1920, whatever, they're all taking the picture outside of Ohio Stadium. So I was looking at these pictures, and you have this team where like they're wearing the uniforms that like there's no pads, and it's just like a number on a T-shirt, and that's it. And it's like
it's a leather helmet, which is just a hat.
And these guys are 19, and they look like they're 64, you know, in the pictures, and they're just like weathered faces, and you know, and in that picture, Ohio Stadium standing behind, and I'm like, oh my god, like it for whatever reason, like really hit home that like. These guys they've been taking these pictures outside of the stadium for that long. I don't know why that never like really clicked. Because you hear that like a stadium is 100 years old or whatever, you know, however old. At Camp Randall, by the way, the one we went to first is, I think it might be the oldest stadium that's old in the Big Ten, maybe the country.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's up there.
But you hear about how old, and there's a certain point, like basically if something happened before 1950 in my brain, it might as well have happened. And you know the year literally 50.
Prehistoric.
It's all the same. Like, it's all like this. It's all like way back then. You know, it's just like way back then.
Like the fact that they even had stadiums before 1950 is a little like it kind of blows your mind.
Yeah.
Right.
So I wanted to say that like I had an appreciation for just how old that stadium is and all the football, which is again like very stupid, and 95% of the audience is just going duh. Listening to this.
No. I truly don't think that's stupid, Mark. I think that's really, it's one of those things. I think the visuals of all of it, of college football, drive home, because it's one thing to talk about the traditions. It's one thing to experience them. But when you see photographic evidence of just how long they've been going on, and it looks like what you're seeing then, it's sort of like you walked, it's like you time traveled. I time traveled.
Yeah. So that was that. No, I'll take your cold, but what would you say? Cold and intimidating, but respectable.
Yeah, but I respect it.
That's fair.
You know,
my vibe, my assessment of the vibe was just cursed. I just felt like the vibes were off the whole trip. I'm not even. I'm not sure why or how.
That one?
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. The vibes were. It started when I got back to school. I go back to the campus and I'm going down High Street and I'm looking around and I'm like. They paved paradise and put up a CVS, I guess, is what they did. All the dive bars I went to as a student were gone. Someone on our team asked me, like, where are the restaurants we have to go to? Because we did that in Madison. We went to Mickey's and the State Street Brats and all that. We were trying to do something similar here. And the first 3 restaurants that I thought of, I Googled, and all 3 of them were permanently closed. Like, either COVID or, like, other circumstances.
Because of the pandemic, right?
Yeah, but they're like permanent. Like it's not like they're on hiatus and they're gonna come back. It's like they're done. They're dead. One of them they knocked the building down.
Oh my god.
So it's really done. And I just sat there and I was like, this is not good. The vibes are off. And then Friday we do the live show. We show up and it's just like basically all Oregon fans at the thing. I don't know how or why. And I was like, the vibes are off, Charlotte. I don't like it. I don't like the vibe. And then we get our ass kicked and I was like, yeah. The vibes are off.
You know, so, the thing is, though, Mark, like, even I think the curse, let's go with curse. We'll take your curse vibes. I think, though, that these situations, you know, it's a living, breathing thing, what we're doing. And so sometimes we're going to show up and we're powering through it. And we did a show and Rob Stone, God bless him, came and hung out with us, and it's sort of about. It's kind of like college football itself. Like sometimes you really just gotta audible, and I think with the live show we audibled, and it ended up going great. So we'll take your curse vibes. What is one thing? Well, this actually doesn't apply to you, so I think I should just take this one. Because this was one thing that you, on the report card that you picked that I liked. One thing you experienced that you wish was the thing at your school or town. Obviously, you can't really answer that because it was your school or town.
As someone who lives in LA, I want to like pick Columbus up and drop it in LA.
Yeah,
and this one,
exactly.
I want to have LA weather in Columbus, and that's the perfect city in my mind. Yeah.
There you go. Beautiful. I would say I was more impressed by Script Ohio than I thought I would be.
Wow.
I saw it. I saw it in 2019, and I'm gonna be honest. I did not understand the significance. I was like, "That's cool. They know how to spell Ohio." And after talking to you about it for a year now, and then actually seeing it, and seeing you pick up that sousaphone and get to, not dot the I at the game, because apparently that's only something that you can do if you've been to space, but see, like, it felt very significant. And then watching it happen in the game, I was like, man, first of all, I wish that, I'd had a big football experience at all, but I think that something like that is so specific and that people just lose their minds for something so simple was really cool. I really loved it.
Having a Script Ohio version at Colby would get you going. I will say, as an alum, going back to this was my first game in maybe 4 years, I want to say, because I took it for granted. By the time I left Columbus, I moved in 2019. So yeah, it was like 2.5. I moved early 2019, but by the time I had moved out of Columbus, those last couple years I took it for granted, Charlotte. I'd gone to so many games that like sometimes I'd be like, the tickets are too expensive, or if they weren't expensive, it was like, we're gonna beat the hell out of that team.
I don't want to do
so
it, people.
Yeah. And it became like a thing where I was just taking it all for granted. So I haven't been to a game in forever, and coming back and going to my first game in a long time. Script Ohio hit. It really did hit, and I had chills. I was like welling up. I'm not even kidding. I started slightly welling up, and then I slapped myself, and I'm like, you can't
You
cry.
hit yourself in the face.
Get yourself together. So whether it's Script, I understand if you're not a Buckeye, you're rolling your eyes. You're like, Script Ohio is stupid, whatever. But just the idea of every school should have something like that. Whether it's at a football game or whatever, but just like something that everyone who went to that school is like rallies behind it, and like, that is it. That's us. And
I'm interested to see what that's going to be going forward, to be honest, because I don't know. I think I want to find the version of Script Ohio at the other schools, because I really don't know what those are, and I'm really excited to find out. And because they're different. Some, I know that Texas A&M has a midnight yell. Like, is that version of it? I think it'll be really fun. But I don't know. That was a fun one.
They call it, by the way, at Ohio State, they call it Script Ohio. It's sometimes introduced. It might be introduced actually at the game. I have to think about it. It's a lot of times literally introduced as the incomparable Script Ohio. So that's kind of funny too.
So I guess no other school has anything like it. If it's incomparable, then we're not going to find a comparison. So.
But it's like, I get what they mean, because it's no one else really does that. But also,
listen, Mark, no other marching band spells Script Ohio before
Exactly.
So it's literally true.
Yeah. But then also I asked Wisconsin fans, like, what's your Script Ohio? And they're like, we sing the alma mater. And I was like, yeah, we do that at Ohio State too. Like, what's your Script Ohio? And they're like, we sing the alma mater. And I was like, maybe it is incomparable. I don't know.
You're like, okay. What else do we have in the report card?
I wanted you to tell me what the best food you had was. What's the food report?
Buckeye.
You went to the chocolate.
We didn't really get to talk about this at the live show, but I went to a chocolate factory to see how they make Buckeyes en masse. They make 8 million a year. This is going to surprise no one, especially you. I once saw a thing on Sesame Street where they went to see how candy was made at a factory, and I have, no joke, wanted to do that my entire life. And so when I was thinking about what could I do in Ohio, and I was like, oh, Buckeye, this is candy. Like, these chocolate things are a big deal, and there's this place that makes 8 million a year, and I want to see how they do it. And I'm not going to lie, it was even cooler than I thought it would be. I think I'm very impressed by mass production is what I discovered.
Yeah, that's what it is. You just love, you love watching things be mass produced.
I was like, oh my God, industrialization. Who would have thought?
You love that show, How It's Made. I forget what channel it's on. Where my dad used to watch that, where it just shows like robots just like making ballpoint pens. You're like, what the hell are you watching, Dad?
I'm like, that's so cool. Also, I loved getting to meet Mr. Titus. Loved getting to meet your mom, Laura. We had your brother Ryan. Shout out the whole family. It was really fun to get to hang with them and not just hear them have to hear me talk on a podcast.
Not just like interact with them by them liking your tweets randomly.
Although I told them, I was like, I just want you to know that anytime you like or retweet me, it makes my day. And they were like, it's a pretty low bar, but we'll take it.
Buckeyes good. Have you gotten any flack from Ohio State people that homemade Buckeyes are better than the mass-produced ones? Has anybody told you that? Other than me, I mean.
No, because I think that's kind of obvious. Oh, okay. It's like I wasn't like trying to find like the best homemade Buckeye in Ohio. I was like, literally show me how you make 100,000 in a day. And no one's kitchen is. It really wasn't
about the Buckeye. It was about the machinery at work.
Yeah, it was about the factory.
You could have been at the Louisville Slugger factory and you would have been just as impressed.
Yeah. Also, someone DM'd me after my little chocolate factory video and was like, hey, did you know that in Canton, Ohio, there's a whistle factory where they make all the whistles for the NFL? So I was like, well, now I gotta go there.
My God.
Anyway.
My God.
Yeah. All right. What was the best thing you ate?
The best food I had was breakfast at Hangover Easy, which is this greasy spoon place right by the dorm I went to when I was a freshman. Like right by. I don't. That's really all there is to say. And real
What'd
ones
you
no.
get?
Real ones no. I just got a basic bitch breakfast. Just like I think that might be actually what it's called. No, it's called Sloppy Seconds. That was and it's just. It's just eggs and imagine a breakfast. That's what it is. Eggs, breakfast.
Okay, because what I always get at a diner. Okay, yeah. That is not a scrambler. Is 2 eggs over easy, toast, hash browns, bacon.
Oh yeah, it's basically that. Yeah.
Okay.
Every restaurant on earth every breakfast restaurant on earth has. We'll make eggs how you like it. We'll have a breakfast meat in there. We'll throw in some sort of potato and a side of bread. And
God
then
bless
some
them.
coffee, and that's what it is.
What more could you want? God's work. Okay, what was the funniest thing that happened? That's the funniest thing. Last thing on the report card.
The funniest thing ties it back to the beginning for me of the curse, and it is the drum major face planting running out at the start of the game. Because when I say that this trip was cursed, I mean this was like, as I said to John when I came in today, and I was like, the haters won. I said to him, John, name something that could have gone wrong on this trip. Just literally anything. It happened. It happened to me. And that includes Charlotte talking to the drum major and invoking the idea of chaos, saying something to him where I was like, what if you go off script and don't do script Ohio and you literally go off script? I guess I didn't realize that was a pun till I said it. And you just start running around and like, will the band follow you or will they stick in formation? Mm-hmm. I said something about him like dropping the baton. I said like I don't know why I had chaos on my mind, but I kept asking him about it. Fast forward to his very first appearance. The thing the band does when they enter that itself is kind of a big deal. Is the band entering the stadium? They come down they call it the ramp entrance, and the band all goes on the field. They get in formation, and then they wait for the drum major to come sprinting down the ramp and out into midfield. Then he does the back bend and touches his hat, and then they all march down the field. That's happened at 1,000 years at Ohio State games. And the drum major.
I'm laughing because I have the visual.
As all of this is at his first. This is his first entrance in 657 days. Comes sprinting down the ramp and trips over his own feet and face plants as I'm standing right next to him. As I'm standing right next to the ramp, taking it all in. And I thought to myself, the vibes are off. We are cursed. We are losing by 100 to Oregon today, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, not the 100. We made a game of it there in the end, but you couldn't help but laugh. I FaceTimed my mom, who's like the nicest person on earth, and she was just cackling, laughing. And I sent you the picture of her. She's just cackling, laughing. She's recounting she's like, Mark, you're cursed. You're legitimately cursed. There's no other way to describe what happened
first
here.
of all, I hope that guy's okay. I hope he recovers. I hope the rest of the season he just really nails it. I also think, I didn't feel as cursed as you did. Like, I think your school showed out. I had a pretty good time. And so maybe like all of the bad vibes you felt, sucked them into me. But I think if there was evidence of that, it was definitely when he came sprinting out of that ramp and just really couldn't. That was a Daniel Jones at the 10-yard line move right there. That's what that was.
It would be one thing if that happened and I hadn't talked to the band, but I had talked to two guys on the band, and one of them was that guy, and it was so on the nose. I couldn't believe. You have no choice but to laugh. That was definitely the funniest thing.
You really don't. My funniest thing, there were two. One at the, first of all, I got to dress up as a recruit and wear size 15 basketball shoes and do a photo shoot, which was out of control, ridiculous. So that felt pretty funny. But the funniest there were two funny accidental things that happened. And one was when we were at the Skull Session at the pep rally. And apparently they have a high school band that plays before the Ohio State band gets there. And there's a mascot of the high school band who was just strolling around the gym. He was a polar bear, and he could not have been lower energy. Or she, whoever was in there,
because it's like really, some 14-year-old kid at like 9 a.m. That's just like, oh no, why am I doing this?
Right, and just kept making laps around the gym. And I had an interaction with this mascot that I will tweet out because it was the most, the mascot doesn't look that awkward. It was the most awkward conversation I've ever had. Like, at the end, I go for the handshake. The mascot goes for the fist bump. I go, "What's your name?" And the mascot just points to itself because, mascots can't talk. What was I expecting? So
and then you said, polar bear, and he just gave a thumbs up.
Yeah. So that really sent me. And then at the end of the game, someone left a rubber duck in the middle of the field.
Who could that have been?
Well, I'm getting to the bottom of it. Stay tuned. I'm getting to the Detective Wilder is on the case to prove that it wasn't me.
I will get to the bottom of it for you. His name is either Michael Buckler or Nick Rago, and he works for Fox Sports. And
Nope. I'm gonna surprise you. You, Mark.
No.
Yeah. I'm not telling you right now because in case it all falls apart, I don't want to jinx myself.
That whole sequence was a shot to my heart. I know what happened. This is the equivalent of the tweets coming from inside the shoe. People saying, "Get out! You're cursed. You're ruining Ohio State football." I believe that I am a duck conspiracy theorist. I believe that the duck was coming from inside my own house, and my Fox Sports colleagues did this to antagonize me, and I'm connecting all the dots. I have a case, and I'm going to present my case to a federal court. So I hope you're ready.
All right. I am ready, and I want you to check out Twitter tomorrow afternoon.
Okay.
And I want you to know that we all have your back.
Okay. All right.
But I'm not going to spoil it.
We all have your back. Also, I'm going to pose at the 50-yard line and give a thumbs up and smile with the duck, Charlotte. What the heck?
I didn't smile. I wasn't smiling, Mark. It was one of those things. I had a lot of Ohio State fans in my mentions being like, "I'm an Ohio State fan, and I got to say that's not bad. That's pretty good."
Okay, so, here's an Ohio State fan in your mentions right here. Not cool, Charlotte. What the hell?
All right. Okay. Just wait. You'll see tomorrow. Is there anything else on this report card?
No, that's it. What else do you want to talk about?
Well, I feel like there's some NFL stuff that pertains to us pretty significantly, which is Aaron Rodgers.
What, Aaron Rodgers sucking? The Packers sucking? Aaron Rodgers is retired.
The Packers scored 3 points.
As first reported on the People Sports podcast, Aaron Rodgers retired. And just because, just because Aaron Rodgers is putting on a uniform and is literally playing football still and is taking snaps and is out there, does not mean he hasn't retired, Charlotte. He's retired.
No, I completely agree.
Somebody check his contract situation. How much longer until he gets his pension? Because it feels like that. It feels like you're watching one of those cop movies where you got the old veteran cop who's got he's on the. I guess that's a bad analogy because that cop always dies in the movies. But there's a cop that's I got 2 weeks to go till I hit my pension, and then I'm going to retire.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Aaron Rodgers is just coasting. He's retired in his head. His body just hasn't retired yet. Prove me wrong.
Well, there's a conspiracy theory going around that he is just trying to sabotage it from the inside out, which I think is almost just as beautiful as if he were waiting to retire. As if he's like, sure, I'll come back. Yeah. But I won't score a single touchdown all season. I also think he's just waiting for the call up to Jeopardy. I think he's like, I'm biding my time until they realize, because, the Jeopardy guy they chose is out. So he's like, well, I guess I'll show up to work until I can get a new job.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. That checks out.
Right?
I'll believe anything. Do you believe Shailene has a hand in this?
No, I really don't think she gives two about football.
But that's the problem.
She's like, I don't. Yeah,
contrast Shailene to, like, say, Trevor Lawrence's wife, who, like, he throws a touchdown, and they showed Trevor Lawrence's wife. She's like loser. You know what I mean? A lot of quarterbacks' wives, they care about nothing but football. Charlotte. Shailene Woodley's like, don't care about football. Never heard of it. What is it?
Which I respect. I mean, he also said something like, he was like, yeah, she's pretty busy. She's shooting like a lot of really cool movies and TV shows, so she's not going to be living in Green Bay. And I was like, I also get that, like she's a busy woman, but I really want to know what his trajectory looks like this season. If he keeps going out there and completely phoning it in, I think I'll just start liking him even more and more, because I think that's the version of retiring while you're playing.
What if, okay, so just devil's advocate here. What if the real explanation is that Aaron Rodgers still wants to be great at football? It's just that he didn't by not showing up to camp and not having a preseason and all that, he thought he could just show up and be awesome, and he's getting a little older, and he's just not good. And it's going to take him like 3 or 4 weeks to like get back in shape and get back in the swing of things. And then he's going to be great again and put up like MVP type numbers. And this was just a 1 week anomaly. No, that can't. No.
That's not He's destroying him from within. Come on, Mark. Come on.
That's not it. No, I just wanted to hear how it sounded, making the case on the other side. And
there was also a ton of ads with it. Like, there's a State Farm ad where he's playing the guitar and trying to look cool. Meanwhile, he's just he gets benched for Jordan Love, and they're showing these ads, and I was like, ooh, it's a tough look to be in an ad where you look cool when you're just like playing so horribly.
Yeah
That's bad. The man bun looked really good, though, I will say.
The man bun did look good. I had not to brag, but I had multiple people tell me that they watched Aaron Rodgers' interview with Aaron Andrews, and they're like, your long hair, I see in Rodgers in the man bun, you give me Rodgers vibes with like what you're doing with your hair right now. And I was like, it's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. I had multiple people text me about that, and I was like, yes.
Out of the blue, you didn't even ask him to. Did you Venmo them after?
Yeah. Can you imagine? Like, I'm texting all my friends like pictures of me in a man bun and Aaron Rodgers in the man bun. I'm like, what do you guys think? Be honest with me. What do you think? Yeah, side by side.
Right. Oh my God, that's too funny. I also want to briefly touch on Mac Jones, because
like, literally?
I think. Well, no, I can't reach him. He's a little far away. But I thought he looked. Being a Patriots fan with a normal NFL team is not something I'm used to. And for the most part, he looked great. And then they lost. And I was like, okay, I think I'm playing into this curse too, because whatever team, like, that's 3 straight teams I've rooted for in a row losing. So I don't think you're the only curse.
Oh, the Patriots losing, you're considering that part of the curse? I think it's just that the Patriots just suck, and Tom Brady was why the Patriots were good. Now he's not the quarterback anymore, and that's just...
I know, but Mac Jones looked really good, and then they lost by 1. They lost by 1, and I was like, oh no, what is going on? And then a bunch of people started tweeting at me and were like, go to Yankees games. And I was like, oh, well, that's not a bad idea.
Please go to Yankees. Yeah. But on the bright side, you guys won the Super Bowl last year. So there's that. The Patriots won the Super Bowl, as I'm reminded by the few Patriots fans in my life. Did they hang a banner?
Tom Brady play.
Did they put a banner up at Foxborough yesterday?
Don't do
before the game.
Don't do this. That would actually have been the best bit they could have done.
Just hung a Tampa Bay.
Think how hilarious it would have been if they'd hung a Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Championship.
The way you guys are acting, the Patriots fans are acting during the Super Bowl last year, it wouldn't surprise me.
It was still hard for me to watch the Bucks Cowboys game on Thursday night. I won't lie. It's like, it's like watching an ex.
How hard do you clap?
Do really well.
How hard do you clap when Tom Brady throws a touchdown?
Pretty hard. I clap pretty hard. Don't make me say it. Don't make me say it. Oh my gosh. Another thing to put a bow on the Aaron Rodgers thing, one more thing, is that, there's a lot of talk in the offseason of Russell Wilson that he wanted to leave and that he was going to leave. And Aaron Rodgers was sort of playing tough guy, like he wanted to leave. And then yesterday, and neither of them did, they both went back. And then yesterday, the Seahawks won and the Packers didn't. Yeah. And I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if there's anything else to mine there, but maybe it's that. Maybe I don't know, Mark. I'm trying to connect some dots.
Okay, I'll connect some dots.
I'm not coming up with any. Connect some dots for me.
What is it? It's a professional football league with a lot of parity, and teams win. One team wins and one team loses basically every game, except for the rare occasions where they tie. And there's that. But here's a spin zone for you for Aaron Rodgers is that. Okay. His body is made to play 16 regular season games, and so he took the first one off, and now he's going to play 16. He's just used to playing 16 game schedule. They're playing 17 this year, maybe maybe he just literally thought this was one more preseason game, and he's like, I'll play one preseason game, and then we'll get going, and away we go, and I'll play 16. That's what I do. I play 16. Hi, I'm Aaron Rodgers. I play 16. That's what he says when he shakes the.
This is Aaron Rodgers' passive aggressive way of being like, "Oh, you play 17 games? Well, I play 16.
I will only give you 16. That's all I have. Not one more, not one less. I'll give you 16. That's what you get from me." And so game one, he's like, "That's not one of the 16. Now I'll give you 16."
Well, now I don't know what theory I like more. I don't know whether I want him to just phone it in the whole game, whether I want him to turn out to have just been rusty and 4 games in he really starts playing well, or to next week just come out and once again play like the greatest quarterback in the league.
The more he sucks, though, I think the more likely it is that he retires midseason, which is what our dream was coming into the season when we realized he's probably going to come back. But the flip side of that, Charlotte, is the more he sucks, the less funny it is when he retires. You know what I mean?
That's so true.
The perfect scenario is the Packers are 7-1, and Rodgers is putting up MVP numbers, and he's just like, enough's enough. That's what I wanted. That's why it was so funny this offseason when I talked myself into him maybe actually retiring was this guy won the MVP last year, and they were playing in the NFC Championship game. He was at the height of his skills and his powers, and for him to walk away to host Jeopardy – or even not host Jeopardy, just go chase waterfalls in Maui.
Just walk away.
Would be hilarious. It would have been hilarious. And now if it's like he sucks for 6 games, gets benched, and then retires, it's not funny. It's kind of sad. It's kind of like,
You're right.
It's a weird way for the guy's legacy to end. But if he goes out as a G, he's like, I won the MVP and I'm out. That's it. Later, I'm going to hold out and you're going to call my bluff and I'm going to say, no, I'm done. That's it. That's amazing. That would have been amazing. But so I hope he gets
Okay, great.
Back.
So now we know what we're rooting for. We're rooting for him to have seven straight wins and then hang up his cleats and go host Jeopardy and retire. And then we will have been right.
Yeah.
And it'll still be funny.
Yes, facts. Yes.
You heard it here first. Okay. Yeah. We have a formal Aaron Rodgers stance on that podcast. Glad to know it.
What else is going on in the NFL? What was another big storyline that's happened? Justin Fields, not Justin Fields scoring a touchdown, but not. I mean, that's what the hell's going on there?
I don't know. Andy Dalton they just sprinkled in Justin Fields a little bit, and it's like Matt Nagy, what are you doing? Either start him or I feel like don't play him in the first game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, or just start him, and that's it.
I was talking to someone about this. Yeah, I don't know. I was like, why are they doing this? And it was like, they were like, because Matt Nagy's a moron. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's a pretty clear-cut answer there. But I don't know what else happened. The Jaguars are terrible, and people think Urban Meyer's just going to, give up. Be like, why did I take this job?
Yeah, which was who saw that coming? I couldn't believe the Jaguars were favored. I know the Texans are garbage, and they're supposed to be the worst team in the league, but a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach, and the Jaguars on the road in week 1, and the Jaguars were favored in that game.
That's why the media, that's why we're so powerful, because you hear Urban Meyer and you hear Trevor Lawrence, and it's like, how could they possibly lose? And it's like, well, because their team is bad.
Because they suck, because they've never done this before.
Because they suck. Yeah, because what? Why do you think, why would they win? It's like, oh, well, because of their reputations.
Here's something that's up your alley. This is what I really want to talk about. Maybe we can make this it and then read a few emails and get the hell out of here. Forget who won, lost, all that NFL. Boring, stupid. Can we talk about the real news of the weekend in football, which is this cat in Miami, at the Miami Hurricanes Appalachian State game that was hanging from the upper deck, and then was caught by, I believe, an American flag. Is that how it happened? They like it looks like a cartoon scene or like a scene from like the 20s when a building's on fire and the firemen are running around with the thing trying to catch the people jumping. Throw the baby, throw it. And the mom's like, I can't, I don't want it, it's my baby. They're like, throw it, and that's what it looks like. The cat hanging. You know what I'm talking about? You saw this, Charlotte.
Yes. Not only did I see it, I watched it several times. I was horrified. The first time I watched this, someone showed it to me, held out a phone, and there's a cat dangling from a wire. And I was like, I can't watch this if I don't know how it ends. If this cat is not going to be okay, do not show me this. And they were like, I'm not going to tell you, but you have to watch it. And I was held hostage watching this video. The cat's hanging on. It's like, and you think it's going to get back on the wire, and then and then it falls. But there were several people underneath, not just one flag. There were like a bunch of different people who had somehow found multiple different pieces of fabric trying to catch this cat. And somehow the cat fell onto the right spot. And then the best part of the whole video is when the guy holds it up like Simba in The Lion King. And he's like, we got it. And then like it gets a little sketchy when they're trying to give it back to security. And I got nervous for the cat.
Throw it back up. They catch it. And they look up the upper deck, like, catch. Throw it.
Right. They're like, see if we can catch the wire again.
They stuff it into the t-shirt cannon, and there's
no
shooting cats into the crowd.
No, we're not shooting cats into the crowd.
Why not?
It would be, the internet would love it. The internet loves a cat.
I'm
was
not kidding.
The perfect college football and cats. What more does the internet love than that?
That video deserves an Oscar, and I'm not even joking at all. Had for that whole suspenseful, as you said, you're watching it and you're not sure what happened. You're like, I mean, part of you wants to believe that the cat's gonna be okay, or else people wouldn't be circulating this video. But also, it's the internet. You know, there are a lot of disgusting people out there that would get off on seeing a cat just like explode into smithereens. They'd be like, check this video out, bro. This is sick.
Right.
So you weren't 100% sure. The suspense was like, I'm losing my mind, because even like the part of me that's like, the cat's gonna be okay. I'm trying to figure out how the cat's okay. Does it climb back up? Does it fall and like land on its face? What's gonna happen next? Even as all that's going on, you don't know how it's gonna end, Charlotte. And then on 9/11 of all days, people carrying an American flag catch a cat, and I was just like, this deserves like a short film Oscar. I'm not even kidding. If Pixar just animated that and put that out, and it was like a little short before the real Pixar movie, it's winning an Oscar. It's winning an Oscar.
Totally. I'm with you. The tension, literally, it was literally a high wire act. The tension, it doesn't get any higher.
Amazing.
I loved it. Glad the cat's okay. Would love if anyone has an update on the cat, by the way. Like, I really wanted, did it get adopted? Why was it there?
You know what?
There's so many cats in stadiums.
I'll tell you.
What?
Michael Buckland and Rick Rego put it there. They staged that too.
Okay. All right. Just wait, Mark.
They put the cat
hold
there.
on. Should we do a few emails?
Sure. Do a few.
All right. This is from Ben Wolfenstein, who said that he met us at Scotty Bar in Wisconsin. He said, I was a Virginia Tech guy in the orange shirt, so shout out Ben. And he had a question for us. He says, what are the Batman supervillain comparisons for different college football coaches?
The Batman supervillain comparisons. So what would that leave us? The Joker, are we going off the Nolan Batman movies of like Joker and Bane and Is that what you
I
want? How do you want to do this?
No, those are the only two villains that I know because those are the only Batman movies I've seen. The Penguin,
the Riddler.
Should I Google Batman villains and we'll do a few comparisons here? Okay.
Yeah.
Batman villains. Let's see. All right, we got Bane.
Yep.
Poison Ivy. Mr. Freeze.
Bane
is definitely Hugh Freeze.
Hugh Freeze. Bane is I'm gonna make Bane just an amalgamation of every strength coach / get back guy on a college football sideline. That's the Bane vibe to me. Bane is the college football coach that is headbutting his players to pump them up as they have a helmet on, and then his skull starts bleeding, and then he's got the look in his eye that's like, I really screwed up, but I can't let anybody know that I screwed up, so I'm gonna pretend like I planned for this to happen. Yeah, that's Bane.
And no one can see if he's smiling or not because he has the mask on.
Yeah. Joker, oh my God, who is Joker? Who's Lane Kiffin? I want to do it the other way, try to go through coaches and figure out.
I think Lane Kiffin is the Penguin.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just get
I thought there was more to it than that.
Now I think I need to do more research on Batman villains. I'm Googling I'm Batman villains. Now I've got a new tab open. Batman, the Penguin. I need to see what this guy looks like.
Oh my God.
Oh God. Have you seen what the Penguin looks like? Do you remember what the Penguin looks like?
He's Danny DeVito.
The Penguin might be Mike Leach.
Yeah. The Penguin, Michael Leach. Okay. I like that. The Joker, the Joker is the Coastal Carolina coach. The guy who has a mullet at Coastal Carolina, and Coastal Carolina as a program just feels like the Joker program. Not that they are a joke, but that they just want to bring chaos. And the idea of compete, because Coastal Carolina has a good football program, and theoretically there's a world. We know this not to be the case because the deck is stacked in college football, and it's in a very exclusive club, and they're never going to let Coastal Carolina into the playoff no matter how good they are. But theoretically, there's a world where Coastal Carolina could compete for an upper echelon, maybe sneak into the playoff, whatever. But I really don't feel
if the system worked, they would.
But what I'm saying is the difference between Coastal Carolina and say a UCF who claimed that they were national champions the same year Alabama won the national championship. I don't think Coastal Carolina, if they ran the table, they care. They're we're not here to win national championships. We're here for chaos. We're here to have mullets. We're here for BYU to come play us last year in this big pivotal game that BYU needs to win. And we're going to F up Zach Wilson and send his ass packing. And I don't think Coastal Carolina has any idea what they're ranked, what they're fit. They're just here for chaos. So I'm picking that guy as the Joker. Yeah.
I love that.
They play by their own rules.
I have.
Yeah.
They play by their own rules, and they're just sitting there laughing the whole time. Even if they lose, they're like, "Oh, just you wait." They're in the Heath Ledger in the jail scene, being like, "Just you wait." And then they come out and they do it again. I think Nick Saban is Mr. Freeze because he's the Ice King. He's untouchable. I just googled Mr. Freeze, and he looks kind of like the White Walker
He looks like Arnold
King
Schwarzenegger a little bit.
Yeah, I feel and he just feels really untouchable, and I'm gonna go with Nick Saban on that one. That's my answer.
Okay.
That's my answer. Let's see if we got a good mascot story. Oh no. Sorry. It's a bear story, and then we'll get out of here. This is the last thing I'm gonna read. We talked about bears last time. If bears and raccoons ransacking campsites or sports. Subject line is bears, and I thought it was gonna be about Justin Fields, but it's not. It's from Brendan Matheny. And he says, when I heard you guys talking about camping and trying to keep bears out of people's foods, I was reminded of one of my favorite stories. Back in the 1980s, Yosemite was having lots of problems with bears eating trash, which is always a funny sentence to me, and tried to find garbage cans that were tougher to open. It turns out that they had a hard time finding the sweet spot where it would keep bears out, but people would still be able to use it. As one park ranger said, there is a considerable overlap between the intelligence of the smartest bears and the dumbest tourists. Hope you're having a great fall. Travel safe and keep making amazing content. Ever hopeful, Brandon.
A considerable
And I feel like that applies to sports fans.
Yeah. Yes.
The smartest bears and the dumbest sports fans. You're like, I don't know who would fare better in a stadium.
Are you coming to you this fall on Fox, hosted by Jeff Foxworthy? Are you smarter than a smart bear?
Done. That would crush ratings. You kidding me?
It's just a bear.
Anyway.
You put a Rubik's Cube in front of a bear and
Right. How fast
And like
can
a
you
trash
do?
can
And a dumb
in front
sports fan.
A trash can in front of a dumb sports fan, and ready go. We see what happens next.
The bear solves the Rubik's Cube before the dumb sports fan figures out how to open the
Do
trash
you
can.
think a literal bear would be a better coach for the Bears than Matt Nagy? Would be able to handle the Justin Fields, Andy Dalton situation better than Matt Nagy?
Yes, because Andy Dalton's hair would be so distracting that they would eat Andy Dalton first, and then Justin Fields would have to start.
Bill Belichick should write on a piece of paper what he would do about Andy Dalton and Justin Fields. Put it in one of those trash cans in the national park, and then tell Matt Nagy it's there, and see if Matt Nagy can figure out how to open the trash can to get to what he should do.
We fix football. Done and done.
Oh,
all right,
man.
Mark. Well, next time I see you, we're going to be in Norman, Oklahoma. Is there one thing you are most looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to
podcast?
meeting Norman. I heard he's a nice guy, and I want to see the guy that they named the town after. Just a guy named Norman, who's no, I'm Oklahoma is one of those schools that I've had circled for a long time as wanting to go to campus and take it all in, because Oklahoma sports are insanely good at seemingly everything. And I'm Midwest Mark, I'm Middle America Mark, and I understand how certain I don't need. It makes sense to me how schools not in New York and LA are great, Charlotte. Like, I don't need that explained to me. But even that small part of me has always wondered, like, Oklahoma is great at everything. How the hell are they doing this? What's going on?
Yeah,
they have had so many good basket. Just recently, like Blake Griffin, Buddy Hield, Trae Young. Their basketball program's awesome. Their football program has a Heisman contender every single year, it feels like. And Oklahoma sport. My way of saying it is Oklahoma sports have always been in the forefront of. You always have to be aware of what Oklahoma has going on, and I've never been. And
yes.
I'm excited to take it all in. So
I am too,
come
and
out
I want to see what the
show us a
magic
good
is.
time. Yeah, show us the magic. Yes.
Like what's going on in Oklahoma that
Yes.
makes it. I've also never been there, and I love ticking states off. I know you've been to all 50 states,
Yep.
but this is adding one to my list. And
Oh,
I've
nice.
never been to Oklahoma City, and I'm just really excited to go somewhere new and to see what they've got for us.
I've only been to Tulsa, so that was my Oklahoma experience. I've never been to Oklahoma City or Norman or Stillwater.
Well, hey,
anything like
cool.
that,
We're
so
going somewhere new together for the
There we
first
go.
time.
Well,
What a
I
treat.
can't wait to see what happens. And we're bringing our cursed vibes with us. So put a big
No, we're
smile on
not.
your face.
No, we're
Norman.
not. We
Here
are
we go.
leaving. We are leaving the curse vibes behind. Well, I guess we'll just find out.